prophet before you is a unique vessel, a carrier of an extraordinary prophetic grace, with an authority straight from the throne of heaven, unlocking mysteries of what many have considered to be the unreachable chambers of the world. A man whose vision is more accurate than the greatest advancements in the world today.
A nation that is about to experience a hard-hit recession.
January 2019.
Then I looked and started to see the nation of China. And what I saw started to almost get me confused, because apparently I have thought that it is a nation on the rise, but I started to perceive a nation that is about to experience a hard-hit recession. And then, as a result, people took to the streets and there were all these riots. And also it almost felt like they were felt at the very top. Riots almost like to topple even the current establishment, the leadership.
7 months later, global news outlets started breaking the story of China's economic challenges, just as Prophet Elvis Mbonye had specified.
China reports its slowest growth rate for nearly 3 decades.
Some of the country's biggest private companies are struggling to manage excessive debt. Signs of economic distress are being portrayed by some of the private companies, which have been experiencing some difficulties lately.
Now, the pace of expansion is slowing down. In the last quarter, GDP rose by 6.2%. Solid by many standards, but for China, the worst performance since the early 1990s. The government's been keen to offer reassurance, but doesn't deny there are problems. The economy is under renewed downward pressure. Much of that downward pressure is a result of the country's ongoing trade dispute with the United States, which has seen the introduction of hundreds of billions of dollars in punishing tariffs. But there are homegrown problems too. For years, Chinese companies have taken advantage of largely unregulated lending, leading to warnings of an impending debt crisis. Add to that weakening global demand and you have a cocktail for a further slowdown in the future. A source of concern far beyond Beijing.
The reports highlighted a massive, unprecedented slump in China's economy, right when it was being considered one of the strongest economies in the world. As a result of the slump and other challenges, the Chinese currency reported its biggest drop in value in close to 30 years. The prophecy had also reported protests that would affect the government of China. As a result of the slump and other challenges, the Chinese currency reported its biggest drop in value in a decade.
What started as a protest against an extradition bill has become the most serious challenge to the Communist Party's authority since the Tiananmen Square protest 3 decades ago.
This is a real nightmare for the Communist government in Beijing. They can either crush Hong Kong, or they can tolerate being defied in a way that undermines everything about their whole structure of government.
They're afraid that it could be very infectious, and they don't want to see such marches in the other parts of mainland China.
Prophet Elvis Mbonye has clearly proven God's authority over the nations of the earth through the unfolding of this and countless other national and international prophetic fulfillments in every field of life. And we who are privileged to witness these prophecies declared and come to pass with undisputed accuracy, we worship the all-powerful living God and accord celebration, exaltation, and double honor to his foremost prophet in this generation, Prophet Elvis Mbonye.